Welcome back to Deen and Dharma, the podcast where we explore the quiet, beautiful intersections between Islamic spirituality and Buddhist wisdom. I'm your host, Shaima. Wherever you are right now, driving, doing the dishes, or just sitting quietly, I invite you to take a deep, anchoring breath with me. Settle into this moment. Today, we are traveling back in time. Not just a few centuries, but back to the very edge of existence, before time itself began ticking. If you are new to studying spirituality, you might have absorbed the cultural narrative that humanity is inherently flawed, born broken, or forever trying to pay off a cosmic debt. But today, we're going to explore a radically different, deeply empowering perspective. In Islam, there's a breathtaking concept found in the Quran, specifically in Surat Al-A'raf, chapter 7 of the Quran, titled The Heights. This concept is known as the Mithaq, or the Primordial Covenant. The Quran paints a mystical, sweeping image of pre-eternity. It describes a moment where the divine brought forth all of the souls of humanity, every person who has ever lived or ever will live. In this vast, luminous space, God asked our souls a single echoing question. Alastu bi rabbikum? Am I not your Lord? And every single one of us, in our purest, most unburdened state, replied with one word, Bala. Yes, we testify. This ancient yes is the bedrock of what Muslims call the fitrah. The fitrah, this is our natural, original, uncorrupted inclination towards goodness, harmony, and the divine. It is your soul's true north. Now let's gracefully cross the bridge into Buddhism. This deeply mirrors the concept of Buddha nature. Buddha nature is the profound understanding that our fundamental essence isn't sinful or damaged. Beneath the heavy layers of our anxiety, our ego, and our childhood traumas, our true mind is brilliant, pure, and already awake. Think of it like a mirror resting at the bottom of a clear lake. Throughout our lives, storms roll in, and the mirror gets covered in the silt and mud of our fears, societal conditioning, and mistakes. But the mud is not the mirror. The mirror beneath remains completely intact, always capable of reflecting the light. So, if we are fundamentally pure, how do we bring this cosmic, pre-eternal yes down into our messy, day-to-day human lives? We do it by clearing the mud. We do it through our character. How does this ancient yes manifest when we are stressed, tired, or wronged? Let's look to the ultimate human examples. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once made a profoundly clarifying statement, quote, I was sent only to perfect noble character, end quote. In Arabic, this is makarim al-akhlaq. Notice the finality of that statement. He didn't say, I was sent only to teach you jurisprudence, or I was sent only to conquer. He said character. This tells us that religion is not merely a checklist of rituals. It is akhlaq, which is ethics in Arabic. Rituals like fasting or meditating are simply the training ground. Ethics are the actual game. But what does noble character actually mean? It's not just about being polite. In the Islamic tradition, makarim al-akhlaq requires immense spiritual strength. It involves sabr, which is forbearance in Arabic, the ability to remain tranquil and dignified when provoked. 2 is sidq, which is truthfulness, an integrity so deep that your internal state perfectly matches your external actions. And 3rd is adab, which is spiritual courtesy, treating every single living being with the reverence due to a creation of the divine. Consider the famous account of the prophet's neighbor who opposed him fiercely. She would sweep the trash, dirt, and thorns from her home and dump them in his path every single day. Most of us would retaliate, or at the very least, harbor deep resentment. But the prophet walked his path with quiet, unshakable dignity. When she failed to show up one day, he didn't celebrate his victory. He didn't gloat. Instead, noticing her absence, he went to her home to check on her, genuinely fearing she was ill. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh would call engaged mindfulness in Buddhism. The prophet was not reacting from a wounded ego. He was responding directly from his fitra. This mirrors a profound Buddhist parable about a monk and a scorpion. A monk was meditating by a river when he saw a scorpion drowning. He reached out to pull it to safety, but the terrified creature stung him. The monk winced, but reached out again. Again, the scorpion stung him. A passerby laughed and said, "Are you a fool? Why do you keep trying to save a creature that only hurts you?" The monk smiled gently and replied, "It is the nature of the scorpion to sting, but it is my nature to save. Why should I let its nature change mine?" True ethical conduct means you are anchored so deeply in your own noble character that the toxicity of the world cannot uproot you. And the most visible measure of how deeply your roots go is found right on your tongue. If noble character is the fortress we build, the bricks of that fortress are our words. Ethical conduct as a bridge is most visible in how we speak to and about one another. In the Quran, Surah Ibrahim, which is chapter 14, verses 24 and 25, gives us one of the most visually stunning metaphors for the power of our words and our faith. God asks, quote, "Have you not considered how Allah presents an example, making a good word like a good tree, whose root is firmly fixed, and its branches high in the sky? It produces its fruit all the time." End quote. Look at this imagery. A good word, kalimat tayyiba in Arabic, is not just empty air. It is a living, breathing ecosystem. When you speak words of truth, kindness, and justice, they are rooted deep in your fitra, your pure ethical self. They stretch upward, connecting you to the divine, and they drop fruits of peace and comfort to everyone standing in your shade. This chapter then contrasts it with a bad word, comparing it to a bad tree, uprooted from the surface of the earth, unstable and having no foundation. Now let's walk over to the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, the Buddha's practical guide to alleviating suffering. The third step of this path is right speech. Right speech isn't just about what you say, it's about what you actively choose not to say. It means consciously abstaining from lying, divisive or malicious gossip, harsh abusive language, idle pointless chatter. Why is this so central to enlightenment? Because words are seeds. If you plant seeds of division, gossip, and cynicism, those seeds grow thorny roots in your heart first. They destroy your own inner peace before they ever reach the ears of your neighbor. In Surat al-Hujarat, which is chapter 49 of the Quran, titled The Rooms, God reinforces this, comparing backbiting to the visceral, horrifying act of eating the flesh of your dead brother. You simply cannot be holy while being harmful. But when our roots are deep and our words bear sweet fruit, the shade of our tree naturally, effortlessly extends to others. This brings us to the beating heart of both traditions, compassion. The ultimate bridge between the self and the universe is rahma, which is mercy in Arabic, and karuna, which is compassion in Sanskrit. In the lives of the awliya, which is the Sufi saints, and the bodhisattvas, who are the enlightened beings who delay their own nirvana to aid others, we witness the beautiful, complete blurring of the self and the other. Listen to the breathtaking selflessness of the Buddhist bodhisattva vow. The practitioner declares, quote, "I will not enter final liberation until every blade of grass has attained it first." End quote. It is an empathy so vast it encompasses the entire cosmos. We see this exact spiritual elevation in the Islamic concept of ithar, which means preferring others over oneself. It is beautifully immortalized in Surat al-Hashr, chapter 59 of the Quran, titled The Exile, where Allah praises the Muslims in Medina who opened their homes to the impoverished refugees from Mecca. Verse 9, God says, "They give them preference over themselves even though they were in need." End quote. Imagine the spiritual state required to be starving, yet hand your last date to your neighbor. Why do this? Because at the highest peak of spiritual awakening, you realize that the illusion of separation is just that, an illusion. My liberation is intrinsically tied to your liberation. My peace cannot exist without your peace. Whether you're a Muslim making quiet dua, prayer for a stranger in the dead of a night, or a Buddhist sitting in metta, loving kindness meditation, radiating love to all the sentient beings, the goal is the same: breaking out of the prison of I to honor the we of the original ancient covenant. As we wrap up our journey today, I want to leave you with this thought. Your ethics are your prayer in motion. Every time you choose patience over petty anger, every time you choose honesty over convenience, you are whispering Bella, yes, to that original promise you made before the world began. To see today's reflection, I invite you to join me in a brief guided meditation, blending the Sufi practice of muraqabah, which is heart-centered watchfulness, with the Buddhist practice of metta, loving kindness. If you are in a safe place to do so, gently close your eyes, roll your shoulders up to your ears and let them drop. Take a deep, slow breath in through your nose, letting your belly expand, and exhale with a soft sigh through your mouth, releasing the weight of the day. First, we're going to tap into our inner witness. Gently tether your attention to the center of your chest, your spiritual heart, the seat of your fitra, your Buddha nature, your pure self. With every breath in, imagine wiping away a layer of dust from that ancient mirror inside you. Breathe in, wipe away the dust of today's worries. Breathe out, let the anxiety dissolve. Underneath it all, your core is quiet. It is luminous. It has never been broken. Now, let's cultivate the good tree. Water your own roots by repeating these phrases silently in your mind. May I remember my original purity. May my words bear sweet fruit. May I walk my path with ease. Third, we're going to expand the branches. Now bring to mind someone you love dearly. Picture their face smiling. Send the shade of your tree over them. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you know your own profound beauty. Step 4, we're going to engage with the universal yes. Finally, let your branches stretch across the world. Imagine this light sweeping over your city, across oceans, touching every single soul that stood with you in that pre-eternal gathering. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings remember their primordial connection. May all beings find absolute peace. Insha'Allah, God willing. Take one last deep breath in. Hold it for just a moment. And out. Slowly flutter your eyes open. Notice how the space around you feels a little softer, a little more sacred. We are all walking each other home, my friends. Let's do it with grace. Let's do it with noble character. Until next time on Deen and Dharma, stay mindful, stay merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.